sometimes. There we go. Thank you. Cool. Nice stress. All right, we'll just wait a moment for people to trickle in. But yeah, good to go. I see the Unreal Engine stuff up right there. Hello. Awesome. Yeah. Hey everyone. As you guys probably know, Discord is having some issues right now, so we have a very interesting setup right now. Mark is streaming on the PC beside me, but I plugged in my headset to his computer, and I'm basically streaming off of like his computer, like my voice. So we aren't in a Discord call this time around, so you won't be able to hear my, Mark, but I will convey anything that he wants to say to you guys, and we will begin very shortly. But yeah, apparently just updated at like super recently. Discord's thing says Google's implemented a fix on their end. It's apparently something to do with their servers, and we should be coming back soon. So, but we got this little setup going just in case it wasn't up in time. But yeah, should be an interesting stream today. How is everyone doing? Cool. But yeah, so we have Mark here today. You guys know him. You've probably seen him on before. He's our 2D graphic designer within the office. Today he's working more on clothing stuff. We have I don't think we shared this dress design yet on social media. I believe it's just called like tight dress. But he'll be creating different color variations and patterns and things like that for these designs. And it should be interesting to watch. It's always nice to see things within the Unreal Engine, how these graphics really come together. And yeah, it feels interesting solo commentating again. But yeah, so some housekeeping items as per usual. We did tweet out, Uma did a fleece crewneck sweater for the male model earlier. Posted that on Twitter today. I'll throw that into the chat. That guy does so much art stuff for us. It's amazing. I actually finally did get a chance to speak with him over Skype. He doesn't use Discord yet. And he's a really cool guy. I would love to have him on stream at some point, but he is working remote, and I heard his internet isn't too good. But we'll try to see if we can make it happen at some point. Regardless, I'll continue posting his newest works up on social media. I really like that design he did. And yeah, other than that, I can read over some of the questions people asked me recently. A few people asked some stuff last stream that I got around to getting clarified, I do believe. Uh, so, if you guys have seen Jade recently, he was working on the bed mattress like frames for the different kind of beds you'll be able to have in your apartments. Someone asked if you could customize your bed's mattress like in pieces, like do something separately to the frame and the mattress. The answer is you don't need to buy a mattress separately. You can buy beds as they are, like full piecemeal type thing. So most beds will come complete with a frame and mattress, but in the future, you'll be able to uh, tweak some of the pieces separately. But for the most part, they'll just come complete. Uh, Another question was, can you drop items in Town Square? You won't be able to immediately drop items at Town Square's launch because there's not really much of a use for it, but eventually. And not every item will be droppable, of course, in the full game. Like, for example, you will not be able to drop anything microtransaction related, as we really don't want people trading that for in-game currency. But yeah, cool to hear. You'll be able to drop items old school on the ground and have other players pick them up. Going down the list. This one's interesting. So people have been asking me again, will YouTube and Twitch support be available at Town Square's launch? Not at Town Square's launch. We definitely have the software capable of doing so. We even had Twitch streams playing during the character creator early in development. That little TV you see when you're creating your character that actually used to just pick a random Twitch stream out of a list we made, and it worked nicely. But the thing is, we need to make sure that we abide by what both YouTube and Twitch allow people to do, and we just need to really iron out the logistics, make sure that we aren't doing anything that they would be unhappy with. So YouTube and Twitch support won't be in Town Square at launch, but we are working to make that compatible. Another good question, can you place furniture in the apartment previews? So in the most recent dev blog, John announced that you'd be able to use the elevator within the hotel in Town Square to view other apartments, like the base form of all of the apartments. So you'd be able to, for example, take an elevator up and see the penthouse as it looks in its empty form. You will not be able to place furniture in those preview apartments, but you will be able to see other people inside of them. Like it's a shared thing, so you'll see other people who are previewing that apartment running around if you happen to preview the same one in the same server. Good question. Another one, someone asked actually just today, can you increase your running speed? The answer is no. However, some drugs in the full game may increase your stamina, which would allow you to sprint for longer durations. So that is pretty neat. You will be able to try out some substance stuff in Town Square. However, I don't really know if this sort of stamina thing will be one of the effects in Town Square, but should be interesting to see. We did get to show off I think it was just the blunt last time in the most recent gameplay stream on the 20th or 29th of last month. But yeah, good question. All you guys have really great questions, and I always try to convey them to the devs in between streams because they're so busy. They cannot appear on stream very often, but when they do, it's a real treat. But I think that's all of the stuff I had logged down for now. But yeah, I just hope you guys are all having a great Tuesday. Once again, for those just coming in, Mark is right beside me, but because Discord was down earlier, I'm actually using my headset on his computer and like the wires running through our desk. So it's a little bit interesting today. If you guys have any specific art related questions, I can definitely pitch them to him, but I'll have to convey to you guys what he says. We just wanted to make sure that we would be okay in time because still experiencing intermittent connection issues on Discord. But yes, hello. You guys are awesome for showing up. Also, thank you to the moderators for showing up to help answer questions. I see you there, Kane, and I also see you, Cyber. He's currently working on the apartment system, making sure that it's ready to go and fixing any bugs he encounters. It's a very complex system to run through, so he's been testing it out very frequently and making sure to hammer out any issues that pop up. Good stuff. Uh, but yeah. Ooh, Discord is up again. That's good. It's funny, everyone migrates over to it because it's so good, and then the moment it goes down, everyone's like, ah, what do we do? I don't think, I mean, I use Skype, but very infrequently, and I'm not even sure Mark had one. So we just went with this setup, but it works. But yeah, very interesting stuff. I was like seeing our graphic designer do this sort of stuff in the Unreal Engine. Ooh, it's a nice bloody red, pretty sharp. Are the last two tasks very large? They were mentioned briefly in the most recent devlog. I'll link it in a moment. But basically, it is the art system and the housing system. We need to test both. And the housing system, of course, like the apartment feature within Town Square is one of the most advertised features. It's the one that got a lot of spotlight in the Identity Insider a while back. And that one is quite large to run through, and fixing bugs in that can take quite some time. For the art system, I haven't heard too much either, but I know that when we had our Scaleform software become deprecated back in, I think, November of last year, we did need to recreate the art system from the ground up, so it is it does need some additional testing. Let me skim to the community section, and here is the devlog in just a moment. For those who haven't seen, of course. But yeah, Cheesehead Cyber here's the guy working on helping test out the apartments, the housing system. Cool to have him here. Thanks again for popping in, Cyber. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet. I'll try and speak clear. I do mumble sometimes. uh, will there be currency in town square? Kane already got this one for me. Thanks for that. But yeah, there will not be any currency in town square. Basically, all of the features and shop things will be provided to you. So if you go into the furniture store, you'll be able to just buy more stuff for your apartment for free. It's mostly because we want people to be able to test out as many things as we can get them to try out and just make that barrier very small. Um, so yeah, there won't be any currency in town square, but you won't need it for the things that you do. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having a great Tuesday. Over here, we've been in a bit of a heat wave, but it's really leveling out now. It's not too hot today. I'll keep going through the Twitch chat to see if there are any questions I can answer, and of course, if there's not, like if there's one that I can't, I'll try and pass it along to either Motown or John. Those guys are awesome at answering the community's questions. Ooh. Uh, will that dress have cloth physics? That's a good question. I'll have to ask Motown specifically for this variant. I know that there will be some hair physics for uh, some hairstyles, but for clothing, can't quite remember. I'll do a quick skim through my giant bag of Twitch clips. One moment. All right, I have one about what will the hair physics be like? That's the question. On April 24th, if you want to check that out. But for this particular design, I believe this is just called the tight dress. I'm not too sure. I will write it down though. Will the tight dress have clothing physics? Cool. Try and get that answered tomorrow for you. Ooh. And Mark, someone in the chat suggested a maroon version of that dress, like the color maroon. I do like the blood red though, it's really nice. Excellent. Let me just scroll down. I'm letting the chat escape me there for a second. Ooh, I do like that, like a soft pink almost. Will there be dynamic weather? That's a good question. Let me get you some stuff about the weather system. Because I do remember us talking a bit about this. Rain. So here, priority 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll throw in two clips when I asked about what would dictate when it rains in the game. At least for the day and night cycle, it'll be 3 hours of daylight per 1 hour of night. That's how long those will last. In terms of the weather, I believe in those clips, I need to link you the other one, is for the full game anyways, they will draw data from the area in or around Ash Hill, which is really neat because looking at the real weather will also provide a fairly randomized set to pick from. Oh, wow. Yes, I believe I saw you in Jade's chat one time on Real Engine. Thanks for swinging by. We have our graphic designer on today doing some cool stuff. I'm using kind of like his headset though, since Discord was down. I've basically taken over his audio, so he can't talk today. And I also just realized I can't preview the clips I linked, which is somewhat humorous. Usually we do stream just under creative as a general label. The last gameplay stream, I archived it under the Unreal Engine because it was more relevant. But I mean, this could fall under that heading too. It's just Mark is our graphic designer, so he can fit both. I just kept it for creative today, but it's cool. It's cool to see you all out here. I do see some questions about moderation in the game. Let me find some relevant information. This question was asked quite a while ago, October 24th, but I think we got a response here. I asked moderation regarding custom content, if it's automated or not. I know for a fact the art submissions in the art gallery will be like added to a list somewhere in our database that we can quickly skim through and remove any that are not so nice. But it'll be a mix of some automation and some manual for sure. Definitely, if there's anything that you feel is not appropriate, feel free to hit up Beach Ball or any of the moderators, or even if you don't get a response from those guys, the staff. But I'll be as active as I possibly can to monitor that sort of thing. There will be a report system eventually, maybe even on Town Square Launch, but we know that people will try and do some silly things like that with the hack me sign and stuff like that. So we will be prepared. Speaking of which, that hack me sign didn't get too much like showcasing in the gameplay streams. I think it's going to be interesting. It will accept any alphanumeric character. Um, so I hope you guys come up with some funny slogans and things like that. I know I'll have a heyday with that too. Town Square has a lot of like ways to have user generated content really showcase. Like we also have the graffiti wall, decorating your apartment, the art gallery, submitting books to the library, even karaokeing. It's all very expressive stuff. So it's gonna be super interesting, and I cannot wait to play this. And I know you guys can't either. Um, Here, let me continue scrolling. I don't think Jade was streaming today, no. I might ask him to stream Thursday. Mark and Jade have been really available for me, and I thank them so much because it's been kind of me bouncing off one to the other, back and forth for the last few weeks, but I really do appreciate their commitment. But yeah, Let me just check Discord status real quick. It seems to be functioning a lot better now on my end, but their official statement still says monitoring. Oh, I thought I would have to jump on Skype for a second. Here we go. What is left before release? We did cover this just briefly, but I know people are still coming in. So the art system needs to be fully tested and debugged and made sure it's ready to go, as well as the housing system. And the housing system with allowing people to customize their apartments and things like that, it's fairly extensive. Cyber's been doing a really good job running through it and making sure that the code is cooperating correctly, especially with the new UI that Archer has been doing over the past few months. Uh, but yeah, definitely any updates I hear from the devs, I will be sure to share with you guys ASAP. Just right now, it's basically the programmers grinding away at the last two tasks. And you might hear some of the others speaking in the background. Everyone's at this like circular, well, it's like an oval cubicle with 6 PCs in the middle, and then John has his own office at the back, like his own area. It's a nice office. But yeah, in terms of like approximate release and things like that, we don't want to give any dates really. It's dependent on how fast those final few tasks can get tested and fixed up where needed if we encounter any glitches and things like that. Um, I'll link the tracker. You guys probably have it already, but for those just coming in for the first time, I will grab it for you. One moment. It's on the town square section of our website. And here it is. So basically, when all of those tasks are completed, we can get our coming soon page up on Steam. There is a waiting period for Steam to verify our game, and I believe the rule is you have to have a coming soon page up for 2 weeks before you can get it playable into the hands of the consumer. So there will be a bit of a waiting period, but during that time, I mean, the launch version will be ready, so we can talk a lot more about Town Square, show some stuff off, and I know that John did mention in the last gameplay stream we had at the end of June something about a video, and I haven't heard anything else regarding it, but I know that he wants to have something up, like a trailer of sorts, on the Steam page. That would be really good to have to help give newcomers an idea of what to expect in Town Square. So, the moment I hear of anything regarding this sort of stuff, I will definitely let you guys know because it will be pretty cool to see. Right now, the priority is just finishing these two tasks. Oh, you have the Pikachu Libre emote. That's awesome. Pokken is a fun game. Yeah, it does look pretty cool in the engine. I like it's just cool because usually when we see the other artists, they're working directly in like ZBrush or Maya or things like that. And with Mark, he's basically getting everything imported and ready to go. So uh, it's just neat how it turns out in the Unreal Engine. I really like that design, Mark, actually, with the flowers, like the dark. That's pretty sick. It's good. Mm. Yeah, I hope you all are enjoying your day, and thanks again to the mods for helping answer questions. Thank you, Kane. Um, but yeah, it feels interesting speaking out of the headset hooked up to Mark's computer. If only Discord recovered just before the stream, but Uh, what other things can I cover here? Let me just skim through my notes real quick. Hmm. No, I think I covered everything that I wanted to in terms of recently asked questions. Um, hmm. Apart from that, I guess we can just chill with Mark. I wish he had. Well, I kind of stole his headset, but oh, I like that design too with the dots. It's good, dude. Hmm. Well, to fill uh, some of the dead air right now, I might as well go over the usual with Town Square. So what's going to happen is when the module is up on Steam and it's ready for download, you'll be able to go to our website. There'll be an option to sign into your Steam account on our website, and that is what will grant you your download key. I will grab you a clip of John talking about this. It's always good to have sources. So when that happens, you'll throw it in on Steam like any other ordinary game you throw keys in for, and you'll be able to get onto Town Square. You'll also likely receive an email just telling you, hey, you can do this now. Um, Within Town Square, the first thing you'll be greeted with is a character creator screen. You guys have seen that in our first gameplay stream. Basically, you'll be able to make your character and then hop onto Town Square with the main features being, well, as I kind of went over earlier with the user generated content stuff, the apartment customization is huge. It's one of the things that, well, we both advertise a lot and the fans see a lot of. You've seen a lot of different furniture pieces uploaded to social media. Many of our artists have done some really incredible work with the environment, and we will continually be adding more apartment pieces and more clothing and things like that to Town Square as time goes on. So basically, when you're editing your apartment, from what I've been told, there's really not much of a difference from the Identity Insider video you saw a while ago. It was also included in the most recent devlog, so you'll just be able to place furniture pieces and make your pad look really cool. Other features include the cinema. So the cinema is unique in the sense that you'll be able to see old public domain movies publicly with people that are in your server. And to go along with that, if someone's being annoying and jumping up and down in front of the screen and yelling, you can not only mute them, but make them invisible, which is a really good call on the dev's part. I'm happy for that. So the cinema is going to be kind of interesting. I'm sure people will react in a unique way to these old movies. Once again, public domain, so anything that we didn't have to pay for a license for. So usually older stuff, but there will be some color movies too. I think that the one that you saw, the most recent gameplay stream, was color, so that's cool. Karaoke is going to be pretty funny. I would say that we will encounter some users who are super good at singing, and it's going to be really incredible to see people's hidden talent. But for the most part, at least from what the devs have expressed to me, it's going to be a lot of silly fun. Um, so you'll be able to cue a song, go up to the mic in the karaoke bar area, and you will have screens throughout the around the stage that'll show you the lyrics. And yeah, you'll have have fun showing your stuff. You did get a chance to see the set list in the most recent gameplay stream. I'll actually throw it up here really quick for you guys because it was a question people were asking for a while. So you want to skip to approximately 1 minute 30 seconds in this. And yeah, that's going to be something else. Of course, we have the art gallery, so you'll be able to submit pictures that you draw on a canvas in game, and it will be displayed for all to see. I can't wait to see some of the creative artwork you guys come up with, as well as just cool to see people's talent and see what fills up the gallery. Um, and then there's the library portion of the art gallery. They're kind of like in the same area. I think the library is like a certain floor. I haven't seen it in a while actually. I have to log in. But the rundown is that you'll be able to submit books too, so other players can read your literature. I'm not too sure how popular of a mechanic the books will be because usually when you think of user-generated content, you don't just think of literature, but I'll be happy to read some of your guys' poems and stories and things like that. It'll be interesting to see if anyone really makes a name for themselves using that feature. Of course, there's the Hack Me sign, as I talked about earlier. You can submit alphanumeric characters to make a message and put it on public display. There will be a cooldown period, same with the graffiti wall, so you can't immediately just snipe someone's message or picture. You'll have to wait a bit for it to disappear. The graffiti wall will be interesting. It'll just be very similar to the canvas stuff, except it'll be on a wall outside for all to see. And then there are little things too, of course. You can like flip a coin into the fountain. You can do animations like emotes. We showed off the air guitar last time. I know that one. You'll be able to try out some of the substances that will be in the full game just to test their effects and see what they do. And yeah, it's basically I mean, I should have said this at the beginning, but Town Square is basically our social lobby. Players will just get a feel for what kind of social interactions you'll be able to experience in the full game. Modules 2 and 3 will be SWAT, will name SWAT and racing respectively. They'll do pretty much as the name implies. In the SWAT module, you'll get a chance to feel how the guns will function. But I should also mention that at some point in Town Square, we will add in the ability to access the shooting range in the basement of the police station. So there's that. But SWAT particularly will pit you against either a criminal team or a team of SWAT. You'll be fighting over certain like buildings. The main scenario will be the bank. So there will be like a bank heist, and I believe there will be other scenarios too. I don't recall them off the top of my head. But basically, it'll give you an idea of how PvP will work in the full game and some of the criminal police interactions, law enforcement interactions, I should say. But that'll be fun. And then racing, of course, you'll be able to race against others with vehicles. So you'll be able to test out the vehicle handling in Module 3. And those will be all of the modules. As we approach full release, after our modules are out for a while, there will be like a beta featuring the full game world with way more features. That'll be when we're close to the full game release. But right now we're just super focused on the modules and Town Square specifically. We do have like some guns modeled. You guys have seen also in the gameplay video back in February. There are some parts of those systems done, but pretty much we're just devoting all of our resources into getting Town Square out for the most part. At least right now we are for the programming. But yeah, I think my favorite feature in Town Square will just be decorating apartments because just seeing John's like penthouse and the dev blog, that picture it just looked really good, and I'm super excited to get my hands on all of this furniture we've been seeing modeled over the past good while. Uh, but yeah, I'll jump back into the chat. Ooh, so someone asking about roles like the police officer role. Also, Mark, I really like this texture too. Those little flower, the green things, it's nice. Yeah. Um, so the way this is for the full game, of course. You can go into a police station, go to the locker room and sign in as an officer. There's only a certain number of officers allowed to be signed in, uh, depending on how many people are on the server as a whole. Because if everyone is signed in as a police officer, then there's really no point to the role. So there will be a limit, but it will be pretty lenient. So you sign in as an officer, and then you will basically be able to do policey type things. We don't want people to be able to drive civilian vehicles as you're an officer, though, or really mix any sort of the stuff that you can get as a civilian. Like when you're as a cop, you won't be using any weapons that you've legally purchased or illegally have either way. So basically, cops signed in will get the cop stuff, and we're going to make sure that people can't just like drop cop weapons on the ground to give to civilians. We're going to try and make sure that it's not exploitable. Of course, people will find a way, but we will make sure to address any issues that crop up. But basically, yeah, that's pretty much it. You'll just go sign in as an officer, and you'll be able to arrest others. Some crimes will have to be witnessed by the officer, like speeding, and some, like murder, you don't need to witness that. You'll just be able to arrest the person. Um, but yeah, we actually have a lot of police discussion in our giant clip directory. If you control F police, you'll see a bunch, and the devs can explain it far better than I can. John is also planning to do another Identity Insider, focusing on player versus player combat, actually. It's kind of like the criminal stuff. He mentioned that briefly in the most recent devlog, so that'll be interesting to see when that goes up. I'm not too sure when it will be, but it is on his mind for sure. That's another groovy pattern for this dress. Sick. Whoa, it's all cyan now. It's a bit scary. It is cool though. Um, yes, you can meet people in game. Um, oh yeah, I might have covered this already in my little spiel I just had, but the complete focus right now is just getting those final two tasks done on the task tracker. As mentioned before, like I think Miroslav did a Glock gun for us. We had Dan do Model 1911 styles gun. You did get to see, I think, in Devlog 15, a guy in SWAT gear. But as far as I know, there are no tasks currently being worked on for SWAT. Like we're so close to getting Town Square out that this is our focus. That being said, the second module won't take anywhere near as long to create as it took the first one, because Town Square involves a lot of foundation laying. We're basically getting all of the systems in place that we can build on top of. Um, so it should be far easier instead of just reinventing the wheel each module, because the goal of the modules isn't just to give you guys the ability to test things early and to get a feel for the game. We want to make that content good enough that you will actually see it in the final game. Like Town Square will be in Ash Hill in the full game, and for SWAT you'll see some of those similar scenarios in the full game too, and like the weapon and vehicle handling eventually in the third module. So in short, all of our like focus is on just finishing Town Square right now, but we do have some stuff created for the other modules, as you did get to see an early version of the shooting and the driving in the February gameplay video, the crime and punishment one. Mark should design clothes in real life. He does do a very good job. Oh, this one looks cool too. Yeah, I like these retro patterns. Well, some are retro. Others are very elegant, but they all look nice. It's all good. Uh, no, Mark isn't talking, unfortunately. It's just me with the mic today, because Discord was down. So I literally plugged in my headset to his computer and I'm running the wire around to my desk, which is a unique setup. It works, but we'll have him on the mic next time. Yeah, when you do sign up to be a cop the first time, there will be a bit of a tutorial. It's basically just to help the player know what to do, like a very quick test. Let me find it for you, actually. Uh, all right, tutorial. This one's specifically about SWAT, but I think that the devs might discuss the normal one in here too. But for some things in the game, you will be required to have a little test, and it is basically just there to give the player an idea of how to function within the role correctly. Hmm. What are you guys' thoughts on this current pattern with like the diamonds? I think it looks kind of nice, not too bad, honestly. Good choice of colors. The big diamond in the center of the chest is kind of like it's not off-putting, but since there's so many diamonds on the bottom and there's one big one on the top, it's like, eh. Yeah, it's a good color scheme. The turquoise cyan combo. He's just talking to me in the office right now. This one looks pretty cool. Someone here asking about how will renting servers work. Let me get you some information. We have actually a lot of server related questions in the past. Let me skim through this giant pile. One moment. Okay, so here's one about running. Whoa, that looks like a bunch of red blood cells on the dress. It's cool, but So basically, you'll be able to rent servers through Asylum. We say rent because we need to specifically use Google's Cloud in combination with Spatial OS. And instead of having like a dedicated box run one server that runs everything in the game, with Spatial OS, we can denote certain cloud-based servers to run certain aspects of the game. So, like for example, one like server can run the AI within one game server, and it's always weird to say because it stacks up pretty quick. But basically, it'll be a bunch of cloud servers running one particular identity game server, and it would be very complicated to allow people to purchase and run that stuff on their own. Um, but hopefully, I explained that right. But you'll still get all of the privileges you would by running a server if you rent one. Like you'll still be able to assign like admins, moderators, things like that, and you'll have control over like what laws, like how long is the prison sentence. You'll be able to determine if marijuana is legal or not. Uh, in the default state on your server, you'll have a lot of customization. Okay, I have two more clips that should probably better describe this, just if you guys want to look, because it's always good to get the dev's word on this first and foremost, and use me as a secondary source. Cool. Oh, I like this one, Mark. It's kind of like flowery, but it's like 8-bit almost, if it's like an 8-bit flower. I don't know, that's what I see when I look at it. There will be watches and things like jewelry. I know for the marriage mechanic in game, you'll be able to give a ring to your significant other. For watches, we have posted a few on our social media. Um, the marriage thing probably won't be in the game until later, the full game, but maybe in Town Square. I haven't actually asked. I'll have to get that confirmed, clarified. But in terms of making your own brands, you will be able to make your own logos for, here, let me just find it, brand logos. So here's a question, me asking how in depth is the logo and or shirt customization? Throw this into the chat there, and I'll try and get you one more, something more recent. Can I design my own logos for shirts? I think it's basically the same thing, but it's always good to have multiple, so check those out if you have time and let me know. I would preview them, but I can't hear the audio on my computer right now. It's awesome. Yeah, though, 4:49, we got about 11 minutes left. Mark is doing a great job with these different designs for this tight dress. Looking nice. Will there be pets in the full game like dogs and cats? Actually, the developers would like to include dogs and cats in the full game of Identity. Perhaps even, well, actually, just let me find this because I know we did talk about pets kind of recently. So here's one. I titled this Brief Rundown of Pet Companions. And then there's a follow-up clip. When can we expect to see them? The plan for pets is they'll just move around your apartment. They won't do anything too crazy. Maybe at some point letting them wander outside with you, but really they're just going to be little guys you can have run around in your apartment when we do implement them. As for when, we still need confirmation on that, but it is on the developers' minds. Nothing exotic like crazy. Well, I wouldn't say it's hard to label what is exotic and a crazy animal, but like cats and dogs, very, very commonplace in North America and, most of the world. But nothing like, I wouldn't expect a chinchilla or something like that. As cool as pets as they are. Whoa, this design looks a bit, I don't know how to describe this. It's like kind of familiar. This reminds me of like something a villain would wear almost. No, like a villain. I don't know, like a cartoon. It's like simple dark stripe. Well, it kind of reminds you like the prison bars, except it's just like purpley. I don't know. It looks cool though. Kind of like candy. All right. The rare beach ball wallpaper. I mean, it's there. I still haven't even decided if like I'm not even sure like if we made it exclusive yet. You might just be able to access it. It's something that we have to go over before Module 1 launches. Um, I think Mark here was in charge of plugging it into the system. Uh, but if it is an exclusive item, which I would love it to be, it would be like for people that do some really cool stuff with the user-generated content. I brought this up last stream, I do believe, but every day I kind of talk to John a bit more about this idea. I want to run something called the Curator's Corner, and every week or every 2 weeks, I'm not too sure how frequent it'll be, I would like to take submissions from the community. You guys would use the screenshot feature from within Steam, so when you hit F12, you'll save a screenshot, then you can share it, the Steam community. I would like people to link me apartment interiors, things like books, well, like one-page poems, I suppose, artwork that they draw and submit to the art gallery and things like that. And I would like to showcase that on the forums. I think it'd be really fun. I used to play way back in the day a lot of Halo 3, and they would do little um, overviews of like who made a really cool map and picture and things like that. And I'd like to get something like that going for Identity. And John suggested the Steam screenshot method because that would be the easiest to grab links from. And yeah, I don't know if I would be able to make the wallpaper a reward for that sort of thing, but it would be the best bet. Like I would like that. Sorry. Regardless, though, award or not, I really want to showcase some of the content that the community comes up with because we have a lot of talented individuals, really, that are really stoked to really I keep using the word really to get their hands on the kind of utensils in the game to really flesh out their creative side. Um, but yeah, yes, this game will be accessible on Steam when it's out. As for the modules, I want to double check. Regardless, you will be accessing the game through Steam, as in if you have a pledge on the Identity website, you'll be able to sign into our new website at some point, pretty much when Town Square is out. You'll be able to sign into your Steam account on our website, and we'll give you the key that you can throw in on Steam later, so you can hop in and enjoy the pre-release content that you pledged for. Ah, Cheshire Cat. Yes, it does. It does have the color scheme. That cat from Alice in Wonderland. Maybe that's why I was. Yeah, getting familiar vibes. I'm like, hmm. Yeah, all of these designs have been really cool today. I mean, they're always really nice, Mark, but I haven't seen like we've seen you work with t-shirts and swimsuits and stuff, but I think this is the first. Oh, you can preview it on a ball? That's cool. I think this is the first time we've seen the tight dress. Um, but yeah, got about 4 minutes left. We will wrap things up shortly. But if there's any questions that we didn't get around to answering, feel free to DM me, that's Beachball, on either of the identity forums on Discord, or you can just DM the Twitch chat here, like the channel, sorry, and I'll try and convey them to the devs where I can. And whoa, I remember this pattern design, but dang, on a shirt like this, it looks trippy. Yes, there is an identity Discord actually. Um, it's like it doesn't well it has the devs in it, but it's not like the one we use for communication within the company, but it's the one that we have with the community that sometimes you'll see the devs pop in and talk about their current work, which is cool. I know Cyber's popped in a few times. Sorry if the yeah Nightbot doesn't behave sometimes. But yeah, just if you have any questions, feel free to hit up the community manager. That's me, and I'll try and get your questions answered when I can. Traditionally, we would have the devs pop in during these streams to help answer queues, but they're so busy getting Town Square ready that they've not had the time. So I basically pop into the CEO's office every day and I convey your guys' thoughts and opinions to him. And if there's any questions, I can get them written down and bring them back for the next stream. But yeah, let me skim through. Is there a ranking system for police officers? Hmm. There's a ranking structure, and I will drop some relevant clips below. The police stuff is usually best directed towards John because he's uh, so immersed with that sort of thing. Um, but here, I'll throw the two relevant clips in the chat. I would listen to them right now, but my audio is kind of acting up, so my apologies. But hopefully they address your question. Uh, yeah, there's only two more tasks remaining that are in testing on our task tracker. Um, for those you who just came in near the tail end of the stream, it has to do with the art system and the housing system. And Cyber's been putting in a lot of work on the housing system. It's a very complex thing to go through all of like how the furniture works, how you can place and move it around the different kind of apartments and things like that. It's pretty extensive, so running through that and debugging it does take a fair amount of time, but he's a real trooper for continuing to do so and making progress every day. Of course, we don't make enough progress every day to move something from yellow to green on the tracker, but we do try to update the tracker where possible, just to say that we did make progress. Sometimes it doesn't get updated when we do make progress. I'm not too sure why, but I do let the boss know. Um, oh wow, okay, apart from that, it's 5:01, so we're gonna wrap things up uh, right now actually. But I'd just like to thank you all for tuning in. Some of the questions that are just being asked now, I think we went over earlier, but once again, if you guys have any questions that I didn't get around to, feel free to message here. Beach ball number 4434 is my Discord. I'll try and get back to you when I can. You can also whisper this channel, or you can find me in the staff directory on our website. Pardon me. On the forums and shoot me some messages. I'll try and get them answered when I can. Oh, yeah, I need some water. I'm dying. But yeah, and of course, thank you to Mark. You can't hear him right now, but uh, like just him being able to volunteer his time to stream his work is really, really like I'm super grateful for that. It's really cool seeing this stuff in the engine, and we're gonna have, by the looks of it, a whole heck of a lot of patterns and clothes in this game, even in Town Square, and we will be adding more as time goes on. So it's gonna be a well, it's gonna be a lot to choose from when creating your appearance, your attire. So that's really cool. And of course, thank you to the mods for helping answer questions. Cyber for popping in earlier, and yeah, it's been a great time with you all. Oh my gosh, I'm dying right now. I don't know why. But yeah, apart from that, we will see you next time. I don't have anyone scheduled for Thursday, but I'm gonna ask Jade again. People love seeing him, and he's returned to streaming pretty frequently. Like he streams relatively frequently again, so I'll try and get him for Thursday. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. And if there's any more news I hear, I will definitely be sure to share it with the community. So yeah, that's about it. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Mark, you can cut the stream whenever you like. Ooh. He's just finishing up this piece of clothing. Yeah, this is what happens when you're not in the same Discord call. Okay.